How
to
does
survive.
how does caterpillar adapt to changes?
Yeah, how the fuck does caterpillar know that when they are going to metamorphosis into a butterfly?
Darwinism.
Seriously, how they know?
Yeah. How the fuck does a butterfly? It's like I'm going to go into deep sleep. Like how the fuck do you? Then you wake up with your wings. Oh, I can fly.
So we just talk about changes, changing from the digital age.
Well, why not you start with yourself? What is the recent changes that you find very hard to accommodate?
Tell you a story about myself.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
You don't seem very interesting.
So this is our friend,
Fuck.
You want to tell me about yourself? Fuck off, don't say anything.
Here we go again, Eric talking about his life.
Always talking about his life. Every time you go there, I'm going to tell you about myself.
Okay. You want to share your case study?
My case study. Okay, I'm just going to talk about how I adapt to changes as a single child in a family.
Wow, that's a fucking...
Is it deep? Damn.
You adapt to what kind of change you adapt as a single child? I mean, like if you have like siblings but end up you living alone without siblings, that's called adapting to changes. But if you're born as a single child,
you adapt to the life outside of the family.
making friends.
Making friends is a big challenge for a single child.
Oh, very broad topics.
So when you were young, right? When you are very young, so because you are a single child, right? So in the family, right? So the parents they in a normal functioning family, okay, not the because there's a lot of different types of family construct lah. So we talk about a normal functional family with.
But this is your personal experience, not as a you're not.
Of course, it's my personal experience. I can't speak for all single child. I can only speak about my experience from a single child, how I adapt to the world as I grow older.
You triggered so many people with that normal functioning family name.
Okay, how did I trigger?
Yeah.
Some of them consider a normal functioning family two women.
Yeah, you're not the only single child friend that I know.
I'm also a single child.
Yeah, so you're a single child as well.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll talk about how as a single child adapt to the world around me when I was young, and then maybe John will share with us also how he adapt. Maybe we see is there any difference.
We'll see.
He's the one with the siblings, so now we are the majority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, so for me, right? Okay, my parents love me.
Wow.
Okay, so let's put it into context. Okay, so in a single child, right? So all the attention is always on the child. So for me, right, I can't really say that all the attention is on me because when I was like very young, right, my family used to make ends meet. So they are most of the time, right, they are working lah. So actually, I was brought up by until primary school, right?
Brought by who again?
I was brought up by my grandma.
Oh, okay.
So I has a very close bond with my grandma. So okay, let's go back to single child, right? So what happened is whenever I want, my parents give it to me. Okay, I can sit at the shopping center, then cry, then I'll get my toys. When I was very young.
So isn't that very normal for kids?
No. I mean,
but you get what you want in the end.
I always get what I want.
Okay.
So you were spoiled.
I'm spoiled, man. I'm spoiled like fuck.
Oh yeah, to be honest, he's a pretty spoiled child when I got to know him.
I'm freaking
Freaking
spoiled.
spoiled.
Seriously, so spoiled.
Like
I'm spoiled at home and also spoiled outside.
Yeah.
So I communicate very okay, so my communication with my family is one way. My way. Or the highway. That's the single child.
Fuck off, yeah.
Seriously. So I grew up, right, in this
My
time.
way on the highway.
Yeah,
fucking
seriously.
biscuit.
But you wouldn't even get to go anywhere because you're underage, so there was no highway happening there.
My highway is the shopping center anywhere.
So you would purposely get lost?
I will purposely.
I would have disowned you.
Luckily, not my parents. So my parents are actually they are all very they they always give in to me. So I'm used to people giving in to me. When I was young.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I'm like so used to people giving in to me.
That's
if
true.
people don't give in to me, I think it's not normal. Seriously, I think this guy, I think it doesn't work. So I always force people to give in.
Yeah. You know, he has a freaking shitty attitude in the past.
Super shitty.
Like he get pissed off when people is not free to entertain him.
I fucking scold him. Hey, fuck you! I ask you go out so many times, don't come out. So
like he can come at my house in the middle of the night. Hey, say go eat. I'm not hungry. You are hungry.
Shit.
yeah, I say you're hungry. Then you.
I'm not. I am. Accompany me. Like what the fuck is that?
I don't remember saying that.
And then you know
being
he's like,
exaggerating.
you know in the middle of the night, right? Like 11, 12 a.m. right? When you're like going to doze off already, right? You're just hey, come down.
I didn't know I'm so steady.
If you don't come down, we won't leave. Then they start like at the first floor start like shouting.
No, I don't think I got shot before. Wait, I need to pinpoint this one. I'm not the one doing that.
You and Yang.
I'm the one with another friend. I'm being led by another friend.
Yeah, but you're the one driving.
Because I somehow have a car to drive.
You know you're at Sing Ming. Another friend is also at Sing Ming. You can just eat at Sing Ming. You don't have to drive to Pasir Ris to drive me to Sing Ming. And then eat the prata at Sing Ming, then drive me back to Pasir Ris. What the fuck in the middle of the night?
So if you're looking at it another way, right, we enjoy your company. We want to eat with you, our good friend.
And then you can't give them like explain. I just finished my part time. I'm very tired.
Looks like we wouldn't have been good friends if we met when we were younger, huh?
No, bro. I think we will just be, hey, Joy, want to come out or not? No, hey, come out. We go disturb singing. Oh, let's do it. Then you'll come out.
Then during projects, right, he can like, hey, where are you? Why are you not for a meeting? I'm very tired. Then he didn't. Then he just went up.
That's true, seriously. Okay. This thing that's also a reason for it, seriously.
What?
Because young, I got this illness, not illness. I got this allergy. It's called allergic rhinitis. So before that,
for laziness,
yeah, seriously, really. Before that, right, so I always function in a very low energy until army or after 18 or 20. I only use one nose to breathe. You all believe it? The other nose is not functioning.
That happens.
Seriously, not functioning. So imagine if you are only taking half of the volume of energy every day with the allergy rhinitis. You can be fucking tired, you know.
Yeah, but he don't sleep at night.
Yeah, that's also a problem. Because I don't sleep at night. That time I didn't fix my nose, right? If I fix my nose before I fix my nose, right? If I don't sleep for 9 hours, right? When I go anywhere, I will keep sneezing.
Yeah.
Keep dripping everywhere.
But the problem is he don't sleep at night. You can see him in World of Warcraft. You can see him on speed. But he just doesn't go to bed.
I just don't go to bed. I just hate sleeping. But when I sleep, I love sleeping.
Yeah, but he sleep during lessons hour.
I always sleep during class. Thanks, I don't know what the fuck.
So as a single child,
all my friends are out there.
So as a single child.
Okay. So as a single child, so a lot of attention is on us lah. So like when I was young, right? So I always get my way. Yeah. So when I go to school, to like really go to school. So in school you mix with a lot of people from the same age as you, from different background. But in house, right, I always get my way. Right? So in school I expect the same. So I didn't know to wait to respect other people's space. Yeah. So I was pretty rowdy, pretty fucked up.
So you were invasive.
I was super I wouldn't say I'm invasive, I'm annoying. Yeah, I'm like the whole world just hold me style.
No, he has this benchmark for himself that he tried to like enforcing onto other people around him. So you're like, why are you not driving a car? Because he has a car. But he expects everyone's parent to give their kids a car.
No, dude, that's wrong example, bro. What I'm talking about, I don't expect that. I already grown out of it. Okay? I'm talking about when I'm young, bro.
You were young, what? During your time.
Look at this friend that I always go to pick up and drive him to eat and drive him back home.
Okay, so we're basically talking about like adapting change or like changing.
But we're talking his own autobiography.
So then let's segue that into asking you about, so at what point in life did you realize that you needed to change? Like at what point in your life did you realize, oh wait, this is probably not a good thing for me to be doing?
Okay, so actually, when I was like super young, right? So I realized I was being outcast already.
Okay.
But I don't know why.
That's during your primary school time?
Primary school time, seriously.
Okay.
But I don't know why.
Okay.
Oh, why do these people hate me?
So
What
you
the
just
fuck did I
doubled
do?
down.
But how do you realize that they hate you? They just go like, hey,
Just you can
Eric, I
feel-
don't like you. You know, kind of shit.
They don't. Eric, you don't like you.
That's how they that's how they speak.
No, but I got a few friends that was close to me.
Mhm.
When we went to primary school, so we were very nice. So, but then after that, eventually I think I was so domineering, right, that my friend just I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
Okay.
I can feel it. So as I lost a friend, then I realized. I said, hey, why is this guy suddenly the one to be friend with me? What happened? What did I do? So then I reflect lah. I was young. I was always asking him to do things that I want to do, but I didn't really ask him what he want to do. I didn't respect his space. So I was like, he was very nice. Then halfway through, I think he met some other friends as well. Then they let him understand that he don't need to care what I say because there are more friends out there. So they hang out, and then I try to be part of the group. So eventually things happens. Then no more friends.
That's very vague.
Very vague. So it's like
So how did you start changing after that? Like what?
So after that incident, that's a big incident when I was in primary school. So
Okay.
I got a close friend. My close friend. After that, I was very domineering. I was not in the best. I was not the best person for a friend. So after that, he left me. So we were no longer friends. So before that, then after he came back again, we were friends again. Like,
So you're patched.
we didn't patch. We just probably I think I apologized to him or something. Then we become friends.
Okay.
But then the dynamic changed already. It's not really like genuinely friends. Like, cause I got a lot of privilege as a single child lah. So I was the first to. I can't say I'm the first. I say within my group of friends, I am the few that have internet, and it's like only 10, 11, 12 years old. I have like 56K modem computer.
That's what 1999. Okay.
No, I think 1996.
Yeah. Oh my fuck.
1996. I got a computer.
With a
got a
56K dollar modem.
56K, yeah. 56K modem. So being a friend, so I thought maybe she's my friend, right? So you want to use
So it's a she.
He.
Oh.
So if you want to use it, you can use it.
Okay.
Just even come my house use. So use. Then after that, one day, right, my bill came. Seriously, my bill came. So 56K modem, maybe per month is only $10-$20 last time, around that price. So my bill came 1,000 plus. My dad asked me, hey, what happened? What's so expensive? I said, what the fuck is so expensive? I look at the bill.
As a primary 3, primary 4, you can say what the fuck.
Primary 4. I mean, I didn't say what the fuck. I'm just using my current.
Quite interesting.
No, I'm looking at the price. I'm looking at the list. I say, why is so expensive? I don't know what happened. So I literally called the internet company as a boy. Hey.
See, that's how kids sounds like, right?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? How come my internet is so
Everyone sounds like
expensive?
Eric Cartman.
Then after that, the person say they can check, they can print out the things.
Okay.
Then I say, okay, can you print it out for me? And that's child voice.
Okay.
So after they print it out, they send it, mail it to our house.
Okay.
Dude, you got sidetracked. I was trying to ask you.
How do you adapt? But it's
So I want to let you know what caused the change.
Okay.
What caused the change?
I mean, we're just talking about his autobiography, right?
No. Okay, I'm just going to tell you this part and what caused the change.
Okay.
So after I received this bill,
Okay.
the fucking bill, I saw the number.
Okay.
You know, I was fucking shocked.
What?
The number is the friend that I lost that came back. Saw his number. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't get it. So he comes to your house and uses your 56K modem.
Yeah, so he stole the password.
Your what password? Your
My
dial-up.
dial-up password.
Okay.
And went back and used it.
Okay, but isn't it connected to the phone number?
No.
It's not.
It's VPN. You just log in. You know, like normal. That's how security is not that strong.
Are you using Pacific Net?
Yeah, Pacific.
Fuck Pacific Net.
Yeah, all you needed for that one was a landline connection, and then you use
Yeah,
email
yeah,
address and a password.
Correct.
I can say that
Just need to
because
have the modem.
Pacific Net closed down.
Yeah.
So after that, I saw the number. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I said, why this number? I never give him permission to use it. I never give him my password and my user ID. So at that point on, what the fuck? Then my parents called. My parents, then they remedy within themselves. Then after that, it's settled. But to me, I was like, oh, this is the first time I ever feel betrayed by a person.
Right.
Like, I mean, I was being an ass. I'm not being an ass. I was an ass. I'm not nice to him, but I never betrayed my friend before. So,
but maybe in his perspective, he doesn't know that the cost incurrence will be that high as a primary 4 kid.
Yeah.
not exactly. If I mean,
Yeah, I think at that point the only thing he was thinking was, oh, free internet.
Yeah, and boobs.
Yeah.
but if you want to use it, but then the thing is, I was shocked lah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to use it, you could tell me, then we can have a proper discussion, see how we can use it. I mean, we are kids, so we don't know. But the fact that he stole a glimpse of my user ID and my password and then bring it back to use it is very, very destructive. It's very bad.
Yeah, I guess.
So I told myself, oh, what the fuck have I been doing that point of time? I was telling myself, what the fuck have I been doing this primary school kid? How the hell I can be friends with this person?
So basically, you're going to start another topic to talk about friendship and betrayal. Right?
No, I'm not going to start a topic of friendship and betrayal. So that point of time, I was thinking, hey, something is wrong. I really need to know how to handle this type of thing. I don't know what to do. So I was super lost. So how did I change? I went to the internet.
What do you mean by you went to the internet matrix?
I really went to the internet. I already have the internet.
Okay.
So there was nothing lah. I went to the internet. I couldn't find anything. It wasn't so established. So I brought a book, and then I read about how to make friends.
Okay.
Seriously.
So you actually read self-help books?
I read self-help book.
Like the chicken soup. Is it?
Chicken soup is. I think chicken soup I read it before,
Okay.
but I did read a self-help book.
Okay.
Then I learned. Then primary school. After primary school, then we pass on already. Then we go to secondary school.
Who passed on?
No, secondary. Graduated. So I graduated, move on. So how did I adapt? I from then on, anything I'm not sure, I always read a lot of self-help book. Because my parents is always at work. So at home, there's no one to advise me on things. And so I have to resort to books. So I start to read a lot of self-help books. I read those. I don't know how I get all these books. I think I just went to a store and buy. Then I just read.
Did you cry and ask your parents to buy?
I think maybe I did. Maybe I did not. Because I don't have so much money to buy a book.
Okay.
So probably somehow I just got the book.
I want to make friends. You getting borrowed books from?
I don't borrow books from
National
the library, man. Library's too far.
Oh, okay.
Last time library is at Ang Mo Kio.
No, he won't borrow. He wants to own it.
Oh yeah, true.
So I read books and then I adapted.
Wow.
I adapted my mindset. I say, okay, maybe I need to change the way I handle friendship.
Yeah.
So I try to respect. I try to be. This is where I learn empathy. I try to empathize what people is doing. So I don't. But it takes a very long time to learn all these things. So slowly build up. Yeah, so my way of adapting to changes is to always read a lot of things. Anything that you're not sure, read, and always try to look at things from others people perspective, so that sometimes people might do things that you hate, but if you look at their perspective, actually sometimes they really didn't mean it. It's just sometimes they reacted, but sometimes it's not what they want to. They are not out to hurt anybody. Anybody in a proper society with a sound mind, they didn't want to hurt you. I think they might have a bad day, so sometimes they say things that hurt you. Then if you empathize with them, you sort of think they are their shoe. I think it's very difficult, but I try to do it. So I always try to think of empathize with people. Then after that, then you will sort of get some understanding. then you won't lash out. Then when you do things, you also won't impose on others. So when you want someone to do something, if someone say no, if it was in my past self, I didn't get those books, I probably hey, do it. But now I will I will think hey, maybe he's busy. So then I'll ask him. Is it okay for next time? If not, then I'll ask why. If they don't want to talk about it, it's okay. I respect.
Basically, you figured out by yourself how to be considerate.
I was inconsiderate.
Yeah.
So how do you adapt to change?
Me?
Yeah.
Mine was a lot easier. I just I think after all the bullying happened, I just started looking at everyone as
Enemies.
terrible people. Yeah.
Oh.
So when I was younger, I started closing myself off to a lot of people when I was younger, and then I just used to really enjoy playing a lot of video games because that was kind of my escape when I was younger. So I played video games, I read books, I kind of learned everything just from all of this kind of multimedia that we had back in the day. And then slowly, I don't know at what point exactly I started trying to mingle with other people again, but then it kind of just happened naturally, I guess. Because as I got older, your mind matures more. You start to understand certain things that you couldn't possibly comprehend when you were younger. So I think the part of me starting to interact with people just kind of happened naturally over time, without actually having to enact any sort of, forceful change from myself.
So it's like puberty.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, you could just attribute it.
You grow out of it.
Yeah.
You grow out of the isolation.
I wouldn't say I grew out of it. I think I just ended up being an introvert for the better part of it. I think even now I'm still an introvert.
You started to practice introvert lesser.
Well, I wouldn't say I practiced being an introvert lesser. Actually, I don't even
practice it.
I don't even care about the terminology of like an extrovert or an introvert. At any given time, you can be either one. It just depends on like the situation. Because like if when I was younger, if I was at a party, I'd probably be an extrovert. Like I'd be part of the party. I would try to enjoy myself in it. But then, if you're at home and then you just want to stay at home, you want to just play video games, you're technically an introvert if you start doing that. So I don't know. For me, I just think that the terminology is very loose for both aspects. But I think for me, I started to internalize everything that happened to me as I got older. And then I started thinking, maybe when I was younger, I was probably also annoying. Because I was definitely annoying. I was always the...
So what's the most annoying thing you ever did?
No, I was just really talkative. I was one of those talkative kids in class, the ones that just would not shut up. Like the teacher would be pissed off at you just because you would not shut up.
Okay.
So, and I understood later in life that I was doing that because I was not getting enough attention at home. Because my parents were pretty much the same thing. So like they would work a lot. They would rarely ever be at home. I mean, not to say that we never hung out, but as a kid, you never understand that. You don't really understand that they're hanging out with you enough.
Oh yes. You never understand.
You'll always think that they're not enough. So even if, later on in life you'll realize, they did spend enough time with me, like that was cool. Like I was getting a lot more attention from my parents than I would say most other kids would. It's just that I couldn't comprehend it because it just never felt like enough for me when I was a kid. So I would always lash out in school, like I would be annoying, I would disturb the girls, I would disturb the boys, whatever. I would just try to be the class clown.
Because you fight?
Because, not really get into fights, but it was more that I just wanted the attention. Like as a kid who thinks that you're not getting enough attention, what's the first thing you do? You try and get attention from everyone by any means possible. Being an annoying kid, whatever, being a talkative kid, sure. So that's what I used to do. And then that probably annoyed a lot of people. That's probably the reason why I got bullied as well, because they just didn't like the kid who was always so noisy.
So you didn't respect other people's space as well?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I didn't respect their space. It's just that when I was at school, I tried to portray this image of like a rowdy kid that just needed the attention for the sake of the attention, like not really thinking about anything else. And then I think that's the reason. I mean, I still had like a few friends that I would say were close friends back in the day, but I think even then the interaction was kind of contentious because you never knew. I don't think they ever really understood how to interact with me because my mood would swing a lot when I was younger. So, and then I think after a while you just kind of internalize. I kind of just internalized it. I started thinking back about all those times, and then gradually I tried to get out of that, and then it all kind of worked out in the end, I guess. But like, I would say I wouldn't be against someone saying that I was spoiled when I was a kid. Like if anybody of my like classmates from primary school or whatever school that I was in back when I was younger, if they said that I was spoiled, I probably was. Cause every now and then I always had the first Game Boy. I had the first like whatever gadget that was out in the market, I had it.
You had it first.
And like,
Dude, you gotta sing.
no, but yeah, cause and then the difference is that whenever I had all of these things, what I decided to do was I would just close myself off from the world. It wasn't that I was even bragging about having it. I probably was sometimes. I probably bragged.
You probably just brag.
Yeah, I
Probably
probably
You just go around.
Yeah.
non-stop.
Yeah, I think as a kid you probably don't even realize that you're bragging about it. You're just gonna talk about
Hey,
it.
I got this new Game Boy. Woohoo! Fuck this guy, man. Gee, good.
And then, so that phase was done. I was out of that. When I got into, because I was here for secondary school, second one, and then I had to move back to Philippines, and I did my high school. So I did my secondary school in Philippines for like the next 4 years. And then once I hit high school, that was another change in my life because then after primary school, after all the bullying and stuff, when I got into high school in Philippines, I was thinking I need to change the way I interact with people because that wasn't working. That wasn't the interaction that I wanted. So when I got into high school, I started portraying this image, like a different image. I'm not really sure what I was going for. Like when I first started, I was kind of like trying to be the. I feel like I was trying to be the kid that just wanted to do all the things.
The popular
Like,
kids.
Not really being the popular kid, but more just like the kid who could interact with every different social group in school, which is a bad idea because you just want to you want to stick to people that you're really comfortable with naturally.
So do you overdo it?
Oh, definitely, dude. I was still overdoing it even when I got into high school. Like I would try to mix in with the cool clique, whatever they were doing, and then I would try to mix in with the sporty group because they would do like the track and field, and I would try to do the track and field, and I would try to do the soccer and the basketball. But I wasn't really a sporty person. I think once I hit secondary school, I wanted to. The mindset changed to trying to mix in with all the groups until I found the group that I was most comfortable in, and then I only realized in Sec 4 or like year 4 that I didn't have to be doing all this. I already knew who my friends were because you meet someone from the very first year that you're in that you just feel comfortable with. You don't really realize it, but then after a while you'll realize, oh yeah, that person was the one that was hanging out with me the most. And then it's like it didn't even matter what we were doing. So it's like you'll find people that actually want to hang out with you. You probably just won't realize it. And then after that, finally coming back to Singapore, you're older, you start internalizing it, and you start figuring out what the hell I did there. Because like there was a huge point in high school where I was just like, when the emo scene was fucking bumping, like everybody was an emo for some reason.
With
Everyone was a fucking emo.
covered hair,
My Chemical Romance, X-Japan.
black lipsticks.
So I even did that.
Okay.
So I even
the
did that.
emo
I
kid.
even did the emo thing and everything. But I think I was just doing that because that was the in thing. Like I didn't really care about the
What you are.
the whole culture of it all, like whatever. I was just there to be part of what was trending or whatever. And I mean, as a kid, you kind of do that. Like you just want to be part of whatever's trending. That's what happens. That's what's happening nowadays anyway. Like you got so many people trying to do the trap music, the whatever. They just want to fit in. Whatever. We all want to fit in at some point. And then I internalized all the shit that happened in my in my younger days, and I thought, yeah, enough of that. Let's just leave that alone. And then, yeah, I just kind of toned down really fast. As soon as
Stop talking.
I wouldn't say that I stopped talking. It's just that I stopped
Trying
being
to
so
impress.
overbearing, I guess.
Overbearing.
Because I think for
Were you
all of-
overbearing?
I think so. I think for all of my high school and primary school life, I was probably overbearing to a lot of people, especially to teachers, most likely. I was a very opinionated kid, I would guess. I wouldn't say I was over emotional. I think I was just very opinionated. I had a very narrow point of view.
So like me.
I think it's yeah, of course. Like I think that's a problem that all single children face. Like we have a very narrow point of view because we don't know any better. Our parents are busy, you know. If your parents are busy, most likely you're going to be a spoiled kid because they're going to buy you anything that you want because they always feel bad for not spending time with you anyway.
And because they got no time to actually handle your tantrum properly.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. So as we throw the tantrum, right, we always get what we want. So we when we go down to studies and stuff, right, we realize that we just throw tantrum wherever we want.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know better.
No, because you couldn't throw a tantrum with your parents because they were never there, or barely there.
When they're there, I just
Yeah.
throw tantrum to show them that to make them to gain more attention.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
as a
to
kid, you
get
don't
what I want.
understand. You don't really understand that your parents are doing it just so that they can give you a better life. You'll understand it only when you're older. There's no way in hell that a parent can ever tell their kid, like, I'm doing this for you, and you expect them to believe you 100%. No, they don't understand that.
That's true.
So as a parent, you kind of just, I assume that you just kind of have to pick which one you want. Like spend a lot of time with your kids and be okay living, or you work really hard, sacrifice time with your kids so that, you know, when they grow older, they won't have to want for anything. I mean, as much as nowadays, like workplaces are trying to tell you that, you know, you can have your family time and work a nice, fulfilling job as well. That's I don't believe for a second that that's something that is readily available to everyone. So you still have to pick and choose as a parent if you want to spend more time with your family or you want to make more money for your family.
So it's a matter of preference. If you want the best for your kids, I can't say for certain because we don't really have any kids yet.
I mean, you can't say that necessarily that if the parent picked like making more money that was better for their kids, or if spending time with their kids more often was a better one for their kids. I think it's just whatever choices you make, you have to live with it, and then you have to just kind of make it work out, whichever decision you make. Well, from my perspective, I guess where families kind of falter is where they think they can do everything. Because sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes you can't do everything. Sometimes you kind of have to just live with the decisions that you make and hope that your kids kind of turn out for the better.
So what?
So the solution? To have 2 months?
No, so what? For you, what is it like? What is it like for your childhood? Because you have siblings, right?
Okay, so this is the assumption I always had about people with siblings. Like, if you have a sibling, that even if your parents are working nonstop, at least you have your brother or your sister to hang out with.
Not exactly. It depends. I guess, for my own opinion, it depends on whether your siblings are
Even close to you.
are male or female. I mean, from what I heard from siblings that has female as the elder sister, they are well taken care of because they are like looked up upon as their motherly figure and stuff. But because I was born in a family of 3 males, so we fight. We fight quite often, like fuck you, that's mine, you know, that kind of shit. Yeah. So we don't communicate as much as what other people think. We talk it more in a more physical action.
What type of?
Yeah, I would think so.
You fight.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
That kind of thing, wrestling, and then your brother tends
being boisterous.
Tend to injure you.
Yeah.
And then you just go to your mom and say, my brother beat me. then your brother just look at you.
I never.
One more time. That kind of thing.
So how do you like if anyone want to do something that you don't want to do, how do you like tell them no?
Huh? It's like when people are trying to rate you.
No lah, like someone asks you out,
Oh no!
they are your friends.
No.
No, I mean someone asks you out, then they are your friends.
Honestly, I think when I was younger, I didn't know how to say no.
So you just
I probably didn't know how to say no.
just
I
turn
think
up.
I would just like turn out for it or whatever. And then as I got older, instead of even getting myself into a situation where I had to say no, I would just disappear.
So you always disappear.
Yeah. So I would just kind of like find a nice suitable time and just disappear without anyone noticing, and I'm not even there.
What about you?
How to say no to people?
Oh,
Depends on the context.
like
Because
someone.
like I said, for me, it was like there were always, I could jump between being an extrovert or being an introvert when I got older. So I was like, okay, sometimes if I feel like being an extrovert today, oh, you guys want to hang out? Okay, we'll hang out. But then if I just feel like not having to deal with anybody, I'll just disappear.
Ambidextrous.
Well, no, like I said, like the terms that don't make sense because you can just freely move between them.
I mean, extrovert and introverts is too extreme, and some people introvert, they are really introvert, they are diagnosed as an introvert. So those are, I do have an introvert bunkmate when I was in army. He's really introvert. When
How introvert?
he goes to the office, he just stay at his corner, he doesn't talk to people, he doesn't do anything. So when people ask him to step out of his comfort zone, he cries.
Is that introvert or is that an illness?
I would say that I think that it's an extreme case.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
he trembles when he goes to
social
events. Sometimes they have this like army, they have this change of command and shit. So we will try to excuse him because he trembles and sweat and faints for no fucking reason because there's a lot of people.
That sounds more like social anxiety.
Oh yeah, it's more like social anxiety.
Yeah. But you need.
But that's attributed to being an introvert.
Yeah.
But he can function well in a enclosed environment or.
It takes very long to warm up, but only when you start talking about something that kindles his interest, then he'll sit down and chat with you.
Yeah.
For quite some time, but because he's like, hey, you know what, otaku, a geek. He'll start talking about, Kaketa Sakura, that kind of shit. I was like, fuck, man, what did I get myself into?
Hey, and if you are his friend in the army and then you are listening to this.
Hey, hear that not?
Will you see this or not?
Nah, I didn't because I think you should censor his name. I mean, at first I took pity of him because of his introversion. But down the road, I found that because of this, right, he starts to become a very selfish douchebag.
How?
Because he doesn't open up to anyone, he doesn't speak to anyone. He only think about himself.
So
when we have to stay
so
because
people?
when you have to stay because of some shit, right? Then he will like cry his way out using his introversion. Then after that, when he get into small problem, he'll try to run away and then start to go to the higher up and say that it was done by a certain person.
So he's a backstabber.
He's a rat.
Yeah,
He's a rat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a rat.
And when you're bunk and then you do stupid shit, right? He will go down to the office and then start telling everything to the officer that we are doing stupid shit up there. And he said that he's not involved. So he was punished instead of us.
Backstabbers.
Yeah. He was punished because it was an offense to betray your comrade. Fucking funny. I mean, we've been doing that shit for years.
Yeah.
And then my officer knows that everyone is doing that shit for years. I mean, hey, we're not talking about anything. No.
So actually you got a backstabber experience. So do you have any backstabbing? Like getting backstabbed?
Well, off topic.
Yeah, it's off topic, and I think everyone has.
How do you adapt to backstabber?
How do you adapt? Just get rid of him?
Yeah.
Get rid of him or her?
So if you can't get rid of them, what do you do?
If you can't get rid of them, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. I mean,
let's say if you're in a work environment, how do you get rid of these people or protect yourself?
I mean, backstabber backstab you because there's certain kind of like, they see some good stuff from you that you can contribute to her life in office or something like that.
Why is that her?
He's not her. Okay, I have experience. Okay.
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 Okay, see.
I have both gender experience, okay?
by experience. No.
What
By
the fuck?
sexual experience.
How am I going to say? I've been backstabbed by it? No, I mean, you know,
I've been backstabbed by they.
by day.
By day.
By day, then your people say that, hey, people are ganging up with me because I have some shit on my hand, right? But kind of, you know, when people want to backstab you, normally it's because they want to get out of certain situation, they want to push the blame to you and stuff.
Yeah.
From what building rapport in office is actually very important. You build a rapport, you build what should I say, a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
That once you have established yourself, it's very hard for people to shake your foundation.
Yep.
Because when shit happens, people start to go like, hey, Kenny is the one that done that. Then your boss is saying, fuck off, cannot be Kenny. He's not that competent. You know that kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's a very bad foundation.
But
he's
that's true.
he's not that competent to create such a stupid fallacy. You know, these are things that he won't go and touch into. Or certain things that he's not that idiot to create a certain stuff.
Yeah.
And then building some sort of relationship helps a lot because especially build relationship with the administrative staff. You learn all the good stuff from them.
What sort of good stuff?
The PAs, the admin team, the HR. Yeah, I learned a lot of things from them, like when they know they're going to retrench people, etc. Then what are the future direction of a certain company. Then who's the one that's been bad-mouthing you at the back. The admin knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the admin knows everything.
I mean, the rumor mill kind of centers around that area.
So what's your way?
Hmm?
What's your way? It's the same.
No, mine is I think if I ever like when I used to work in FMB, so obviously you get to meet a lot of different people, right? Because it's sometimes you work in a place where people come in and out really fast, so you have to get to know so many different people a lot of the time because part timers come and go. So eventually, I just stuck to the routine of getting to know people that I know are going to be there for a long period of time, and then anyone who doesn't seem like they're going to be around for that long, I just don't really care. Like, okay, not really. I mean, obviously I have to get to know the people who are new. It's not, but I just don't
open up.
I don't bother to get to know them any better than I need to. Just I only need to get to know you well enough that we can work together properly. So like that was always my mindset for work. Like I'll just work with you competently so that we can work together and get this shit done. I don't need to know who you are, what you do with your life, whatever. If you end up being like a person who backstabs, great for me because I didn't even know you that well to begin with. I don't have any ties to you. So if you try to like badmouth me or backstab me, I've already got the out. I don't even know you.
Oh, so you just So if you found out that this person just came in and then they just got backstabbed by this guy, so what will you have any reaction? What will you do in that situation?
Honestly, for me, if I don't even have anything to offer that would help someone in that situation, I wouldn't even stick my nose in.
But if you are the one,
I mean, if I happen to know what the hell happened, sure, of course I would speak out for the person who was wronged.
But what if you are the person that just got backstabbed?
If I was the person that got backstabbed, then hopefully there was a witness. But then, like, I mean, most of the work that I've been in so far, no one's ever accused me of doing anything because I've always been able to show exactly what I do, how I do it, and not deviate from that process. Because so if anything ever happened that I got blamed for, then they would just know outright, yeah, no, he wouldn't do that. Because this is how he does this.
So your way is to be transparent in what you are doing.
Yeah.
Don't need to hide anything. Let people know what you are doing. So if anyone comes in and says, hey, you do that, but you already told them you are doing this, so you're safe.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, generally, if you have nothing to hide, then except for your browser history or stuff. But for work, always have the black and white and
Yeah,
the things you say.
That's another way to keep your hands clean.
Black
Just have
and
a
white.
black and white.
Yeah, it's important.
Always
Like
have
you know,
black and
inform
white.
your superior. This is exactly what I'm gonna do today.
Right.
Yes.
Adapting into Singapore as a
Yeah.
foreigner.
Correct.
I think now you should be fine already.
Yeah,
but it's when you
But when you came,
but you come back from high school that period, you should have some.
some very
Well,
interesting things.
No, I didn't really have an issue. I think
You already
I think
established
the-
your character.
yeah, I kind of established my character. I think the only part where I had a bit of a problem was when I was younger, when like I didn't understand. Well, I knew that I should just speak Singlish so that I could get away from all the stupid questions.
Like, hey, why you sound like American?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I could get away from that. So like when I was in primary school, I would always just like speak Singlish to everyone, and I mean, but I never felt comfortable speaking Singlish.
That's not
because
that
that never sounded like what I think I sound like in my
Yeah,
head. Because
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
sounds a certain way in their head. Like
Can you
it's not.
speak a Singlish language?
It's not. Yeah, of course, I still can do it. It's
Yeah.
just that I prefer not to. It's just it comes out when the situation arises where like I don't know someone that well. I'll probably just speak Singlish to, not have to deal with the whole scenario of hey, why you speak like that.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, you can speak English.
Yeah, but the problem is,
Quite well.
people that doesn't tend to speak Singlish, they have a better first impression when they go for a certain job.
Jobs
I would say that for job interviews,
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
not having a Singlish accent probably works in your favor for most places.
Yeah.
it's more
But
convincing.
I think if we're talking along the lines of getting to know people, I think to a certain extent, a foreigner should adopt whatever language they're in. Because
I think it depends on you. Can't go to Paris and say that I'm stuck going to speak French. There's no way.
Yeah, no, I mean, it still depends on whether or not you're going to be there for a long time or a short
Yeah.
time. But I mean, in general, if you're a foreigner going to live in a different country for a long period of time, it would be best if you learn their local way of speaking.
Correct.
So if it means that you're in a Spanish country, you probably should pick up a few words of Spanish just so people over there can see that you're actually trying to assimilate into their society instead of like constantly being I'm a foreigner, whatever. Like, that's not cool. So
integrating.
yeah, trying to integrate into the society that you're living. So that's basically what I did as well. I think for me, like when I meet up with my close friends, I like to use a proper English accent. If I'm meeting random people and I know they're Singlish and it looks like they'd be more comfortable with me if I was speaking Singlish, I would speak Singlish. I mean, I have nothing against the language. I think Singlish is great. Like it shortens so many words. It's such a helpful.
Which is true.
Like it ends conversations so fast.
How? Give me an example.
I wouldn't know right off. Like I mean, instead of saying, "Hey, do you want to meet up tomorrow and we'll go have dinner?" Hey, tomorrow you know.
Yeah. Which is true.
You hungry? You hungry?
We during my employment at this company that sells steak. We actually have people from the APEC region come over Singapore and start to learn some Singlish from us because they find it so easy to use.
Yeah, it's super convenient.
Yeah, especially when they're doing the presentation to a lot of Singapore counterparts. They go like, "I'm so lucky to be here." Blah blah blah. Yes, hang end of story.
Yeah, exactly.
Hungry go eat. Then they realize that the lay la law makes a lot of difference. Hungry lay, hungry law, hungry la. It actually makes a lot of difference.
So for me at the start, what happened was that I was always really afraid of speaking proper English because as a young kid, like if you spoke proper English and then all your classmates were speaking Singlish, they would think that you're being pretentious.
Oh yes.
You're trying to
So
exactly.
Yeah.
I would say you're acting or whatever. so like when I was younger, it was always a very difficult decision to come to of whether or not I wanted to speak Singlish So in some ways, I felt pressured to speak Singlish, but then as I grew older, and then I was able to just comfortably speak proper English if I wanted to, and that wouldn't be a problem. And then I understood that I would still use Singlish if it benefited me in terms of not having to go through a whole series of questions of why do you speak like that? Where did you get that accent? Blah, 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 blah.
To not explain too much.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I adapted in Singapore as a foreigner, I guess. Like because I mean, it's really Singapore is actually not a really good place to ask a foreigner how to adapt to the country because as long as you speak English, you're fine.
That's quite true.
Which is true.
If you speak English, you can communicate with most Singaporeans.
Yeah.
So it's easier
I mean,
to.
if you look foreign enough, they're not even gonna ask you why your accent is the way it is. I think the only reason I had that problem when I was younger was because I look very much like a Malay. So well, actually, the weird thing is, to Malays, I looked a lot like a Chinese. So Chinese, I looked a lot like a Malay. So they always thought that my face should come with a Singlish accent. Exactly. So that's where the problem. Yeah. So that's where the problem kept arising, to where like they would see my face for the first time.
They can't match it with the accent.
Exactly.
Oh. Okay. So.
What?
Okay.
Brain fart.
Okay. So from the conversation, right? Adapting is more like opening your ears, listening to things out there that's happening around you, and then looking in yourself, and then after that,
Really? I think we are talking more about our childhood than adapting.
No, we are talking about adapting. Okay, you see how I join them together.
No, it's okay. You can continue. You don't have to join it up.
You see.
No.
You see. Okay. Okay, come back.
No, but I mean, I get where you're coming from. Like, adapting is sort of, I think, to easily adapt to your surroundings is has more to do with your awareness. Like, you just need to be aware of your surroundings because, like, you can't close yourself off like I did. Like, at one point, like, I closed myself off from a lot of things, and that's how I got into more problems than I should have been in, just because I wasn't willing to be aware and adapt to the different situations that I found myself in. So I think if you're trying to go, like, even if it's to study abroad or to do something new in your life, I think you have to have a level of awareness to where, okay, I understand how this atmosphere is. I'll probably have to change this certain thing about myself, even if it's just for this particular place.
So it's better to embrace what is coming instead of just stepping
I want to say just
Not
embrace.
really, yeah.
You should say like what is the workaround sometimes.
Yeah.
Embracing means that you're accepting your fate. It's like the car is coming to you. Come on, man. It's
So you
time
have to
go.
find a middle ground between what is happening
like that,
and who are you, then just take the middle ground.
I mean, adapting is basically like compromising.
Compromising. So if everyone is willing to compromise, the world will be
Nah, if everyone is going to compromise, the world will end.
Yeah.
Why?
Obviously, there's certain aspects of life that you shouldn't compromise with because that would probably change who you are as a person to someone that you probably don't want to end up being anyway. But I think there's certain things that you can, compromise with. Like if it's a work situation and it's like only going to affect you in the workplace, just adapt to it. Like, work around it. You don't have to be super headstrong all the time. I mean, it's great, but sometimes you should just take a bow.
Keep an open mind. Agree? Keep an open mind.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone should adapt, but not to the state that you're open minded to willing to accept every single thing that people come to.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a problem with a certain white country.
Yeah, you should
They're
have a certain.
They're a bit too willing to accept just about everything that comes out of a person's mouth, just so that they don't, insult anyone, whatever.
You have to have stick to a certain moral values.
Yeah.
Work with your
stick to a
integrity.
moral value.
Then work around with it.
Before we end this, right, Sing will provide us with the quote of the day.
Huh? What the fuck? Integrity, moral value. Believe in yourself.
Okay. So accept that.